All right, sir. State your name and your occupation.
My name is John, and I am an instructor, sword instructor at DEMOS.
What's that near your pants?
What's near my pants? Well, this. It's a piece of pork belly.
All right. So what are we gonna do with that today, man?
We are going to make a surprise for an upcoming meeting tomorrow.
Can we talk about this meeting, this specialness?
We will be discussing on making a makers channel for DEMOS.
Very cool. Guess what? This is like the coolest place to make bacon. If you guys can't see, we have swords and airsoft guns and spears and a bunch of Sharpie things that we can cut stuff with.
Which is appropriate for what we're doing today.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna get in your way here,
Yeah, bye.
and then you can take a look and tell us what all this crap is. That isn't really crap. That's pork belly.
Yep. So all of this wonderful works and preparations here is to begin an old school recipe for the simplest and most wonderful pieces of meat in the world.
Now, what is that piece of meat called?
We call it bacon.
Yeah, bacon.
And this is a little bit of a family recipe here. So,
Can you tell us a little bit of that family history with this recipe? If you don't know, it's okay too.
this is a new family recipe there for my mom and I, because before I moved in everything there, I used to be a rancher, a farmer. And I used to raise pigs. So I would raise my own meat, and we would smoke and process all of the things there. We wanted a ham, we made our ham. And so we worked on the ways to cure and preserve that meat. And one of the beginning portions before you do any of that there is you want to be able to work in building preserved meats is to pull moisture out. And a great way of doing that is two simple ingredients. All you need is sugar and salt.
Cool, and we're just gonna block out all of those logos.
What logos?
So here's a question, dude. Where did this recipe come from? Where did you find this recipe?
This recipe we actually found just doing a very simple search. All over the place you can find this one here, but we dug this one specifically out of charcuterie recipes. So how to do smoked meats, bacon pieces there, and old age preservation.
When you start pouring, I'm gonna do an action shot.
And it's a really, really simple piece here right now. Back in the day, if you think about everything there, and I love to think on that history and everything that I do, is we didn't have refrigeration and everything. So how did we keep foods from going bad? Well, we dried it out. We smoked it, we preserved it. So working that, one of the most common ways of building everything was one of the most important and simple pieces in the world, which is that right there. Some simple, beautiful salt.
Yeah, I messed it up. I messed up my shot. That's okay. Nobody will see that, or they'll hear this. They will.
Nobody saw anything. I have an entire room of saying that.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do to put this together here is a really, really easy way. You can get everything you need at just your local grocery store, anywhere you're at there, but it's very, very simple. It is a simple, easy 2-to-1 ratio, 2 parts salt to 1 part sugar.
Has anybody ever done the opposite? 2 parts sugar to 1 part salt.
They actually have.
What does that taste like?
That tastes like sweet pork.
So like maple bacon, maybe?
Yes.
Speaking my language.
Yeah, right? Now, why I like to do 2 parts salt to 1 part sugar is I actually get a much drier meat before I go to the second step of this entire process. That sugar there, that just cuts that saltiness down a little bit and everything.
All right, so Johnny, I'm going to ask you something here.
By all means.
We are going heavy on time, and I'm actually going to put this into edit. How fast can you make this? Bam, Bam.
Well, we're just gonna jump straight on
Bam.
into this process here right
And
now.
you're talking super speed.
Mix up your salt and your sugar until you get a nice fine even glaze here. It's a nice even mixture. Now, as we see right here, we've got this nice, lovely piece of pork here right now. Doesn't important where it comes from. What you're gonna do, you're gonna scoop up a nice big fistful of this stuff. You're just gonna start packing that onto that meat.
Making bacon the fast way. Ugh.
Indeed. Just work that in there all over.
I am like the worst behind the scenes cameraman. Do this now. You're like, dude.
Oh, as a person there who's supposed to be in front of the camera there, it's not my job to be able to keep snapping to attention there when somebody barks, right?
I was born in the year of the dog, so.
Well, then that just makes so much.
And I love dogs.
Dogs are the best,
I
aren't
know
they?
my Instagram feed is pretty much full of likes of certain things and dogs.
You know what? One thing there that I always share with dogs and everything?
You know what? You wouldn't, like, sorry for cutting
Yeah.
off from topic, but you wouldn't expect it to pack on that easily, actually.
Right? So it does there right now because we got what is happening there is the salt pulls all the moisture, beginning to pull all that moisture out of that fat, out of that meat.
How do you know when you're, like, done with that, dude?
Well, as it starts holding in here right now, so we see that we have this really easy fine glaze. What I actually want to work on is getting this thicker form on it here. The more I can get on it, the faster it's gonna get pulled out all that water out of there.
Like, does it make sense to just, like, toss the pork belly, like, in the bowl and just, like, go crazy on it?
It totally does, but what that does is it makes it really, really, really salty. But if you want to keep a little bit more of that flavor inside of it and everything, so not all you're tasting is just salt, then you want to work it into it.
So it makes it almost, I don't know, artisanal, doesn't it?
One way of putting it.
You're like, God, that guy behind the camera is like such a butt.
So glad he never cut my eye rolls.
Cool.
Now, as we see here, that's thickening up across the entire pattern here. Like that. And we can do a quick test there. We notice it's very little that's fallen off. We are pretty much ready to take that.
So what could you tell? To somebody who's or say to somebody, it's their very first time making bacon, dude, and they might feel a little bit anxious about, like, I don't know what I'm doing, especially with packing on this salt and sugar.
First piece there is quick and easy. Make sure your ratios are accurate. Throw in whatever seasoning you'd like to do into your dry mixture right here. Pack it all together, and one of your safest bets would just simply use a Ziploc container and check it daily. If you see a lot of liquid inside of that container, pour it off. If the meat feels squishy and not hard, then you need to let it sit in the dry cure for a longer period of time until it feels very hard.
And so this is 1 pound of pork belly,
This
right?
is just 1 simple pound of it here right now.
So how long would it take to cure this bad boy?
This one here, because it's a pound and I have quite a bit of a mixture here, this can probably be done within about 24 hours.
Nice.
Its best there would probably be 24 to 48, and you'd have a beautiful slab of bacon just about ready to hit the last step.
And what is the last step?
The last step of making bacon is smoking the bacon, which we will work on next time.
Nice. All right, guys, we're going to leave it at this. We have a special meeting tomorrow that we should hopefully have some of this bacon ready for. If not, we have some other ideas. Yeah, like and subscribe or whatever everybody else says on YouTube. All right, guys.
Take care, everybody.
We were stopping, but we just saw something.
So I want y'all to kind of check this out right here. Do you see that right along in that meat right there? You can see the salt beginning to melt. And that's because that salt's already started pulling that moisture, that water, right on out of that meat. We're gonna get some delicious, delicious food.
All right, we're saying bye again.